Morning!
Hello everyone, Alex is here and
I'm here.
He's being all... You've put the food on my jigsaw.
You know, that's...
I made that.
Oh.
I didn't make it.
Well, you better get it.
I put it together.
Out of place where you made it. There you go. Alright, there we go. Right, it's fine.
We're in. Hello everybody.
Hello.
I'm going to leave Alex for a bit and go and do something that I have to do.
I'm sure nobody can guess what that is. That was a good euphemism there,
It's
Rich.
that time.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Good morning, everybody.
Don't demonetise my stream.
I'll swear lots. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me on Scrof's breakfast, apparently. Yeah, you've just got me for a few minutes because Rich has gone off to do something unmentionable. I've bought bacon, so what we'll probably get in a minute is us sitting here eating. So, yeah, tune in for that. That's a surefire moneymaker. I hope we're all okay. I'm going to have a quick look at the chat over here. How's the chat going? Hello, everybody. Yes, it is more food. That's generally my function on these live streams. I say these live streams, they are becoming more regular than we expected on the last one. My function appears to be to turn up with food. So it's not a bad function. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. I can deal with that. I am the owner of the DS that got rolling roaded last night. Well, I'm sure, as it's Rich's live stream, I'll concede that it's not a DS, it's a D Special. I was quite pleased with that, actually. I was quite pleased with 75 horsepower. That's not too bad. I mean, you know, I'd have liked a little bit more, but, you know, it is a base spec D from 1970, and it's been sitting around in the workshop for goodness knows how long. So, yeah, I'm relatively pleased with that, and I think that... the curve looked good, so yeah. I'm Rich actually phoned me. Rich texted me, I think yesterday, and said, "How do you fancy putting your car on the rolling road?" And I thought to myself, I can see no good reason why not, other than it might explode. But it didn't explode. We're all good. We're here, so that's no bad thing. But yeah. So I'm going to be joining Rich for the next couple of hours. We do have a special announcement coming up at 8 p.m. 8 p.m, 8 a.m. Gosh, I'm not allowed to be this out of sorts. I've actually had some sleep, but yeah, we'll have a special announcement coming up at 8 a.m. So please don't go away. Do stay tuned for that. Make sure that you're still here at that point in time because we've got something very special to say. In the meantime, I'm going to try and keep them awake. The last time I came and did this, I arrived at this sort of time, and Rich was, I'm told, pretty deflated, and bacon helped perk him up again. This time, I have to say, you can't. He's looking good. He's looking fresh. I think he's got this. I think he's going to do this. He did just answer the door, open the door, and go, "Is it light outside?" And just stand outside and go, and then come back in again. So I think he needed a bit of fresh air. But that's all he needs. That's all he needs. He'll fuel him up. He'll keep going. Let's have a quick look at the chat. Oh, DS is beautiful clean. Yes, it is. DS owner, tell us more. Did you ever tell us you own it? Yeah, it's amazing. I own a DS. I don't mention it much. So my car is a 1970 D Special that I bought in January, thinking, oh, well, it's a little bit of work. It'll be, you know, a couple of months. It'll be back on the road in time for summer. It's still there. Yeah, no, I mean, I bought a cheap DS. And that's kind of what happens when you buy cheap DSs. So yeah, it's still in the workshop. It's quite I think it's quite a nice one. Although it's rare for me in that I bought a car with absolutely no history. The only bit of paper I have for that car is the V5. I have no other history for it whatsoever. All I know is that it was imported from the Netherlands in about 2019. It's a little bit ropey around the edges, but mechanically quite strong. It is a D Special, but it's been painted to look like a DS, which basically means it's got rubbing strips down the side, it's got a little bit of extra spangly chrome on it, and inside it's got a nice leather interior from a DS as well, instead of the jersey fabric you got with the D Special. So, I mean, I quite like it. I've driven it once, so I hope I like it, let's put it that way. But, you know, DS has always been a massive dream car for me, so to own one is I mean, I still can't quite believe I do. In fact, I don't think I really can believe I do, because it's been here for the last year. But yeah, you know, so the hope is that next year it will be out and about. I'll take it to a few shows and whatnot and get to enjoy it a little bit more. But in the meantime, it's proving to be an excellent prop for a live stream and an ornament in the corner of Richard's workshop. A little bit like the SM, actually, funny enough. There's no such thing as a cheap... Yeah, well said, Matt. How did I feel seeing her on the dyno? Do you know what? It was great. I actually... Shall I tell you why it was great? It was great because I haven't really seen or heard her running for several months. So to hear her running and running so strongly was really quite heartening. You know, she's been sitting around here for quite a long time. So the fact she was going and going so well was really good. I reckon she could have done a bit more if Richard kept his foot in. I think he was trying to be respectful of the fact that she's, you know, not had much running in recent times, which I'm happy about. But also, I think they say the peak power on those is, I was checking the figures last night, is 5,500 revs. And he only took her up to 5,000. So she would have had a bit more left in her, I reckon. So I'm not unhappy at all. I'm really pleased by the whole thing. And pleased most of all that it didn't expire, which is kind of what you want, really. So yeah, I was chuffed as nuts. Really, really pleased. Thank you, Jeff. Please keep donating, folks. I mean, we're at 6,156 at the moment, which is 92% of the target that Rich has set. I think that's fantastic. And I think, you know, we've got so much time left, and that's basically the night shift we've managed £6,000 on. So if we can keep going through the day and keep trying to raise awareness, posting about this on social media, bringing people into the live stream to come and watch it who might not be aware of Rich's work, I think that would be a really, really good thing. So, you know, if you're watching this, spend your day annoying people. I mean, maybe not annoying people, but spend your day telling people as much as you can about this live stream. Get them to come and watch. Get them to come and find out about Sophie's legacy and the amazing work that it does. And I'm sure they will feel... what's the word? They will feel like they must donate something. They'll feel press ganged into donating something, hopefully. Not press ganged, but you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, I really hope that that we can get that total up a bit more, and I sort of think we can, and I reckon we can probably bust last year's total as well, which will be quite a thing given how high last year's total was. So yeah, I think if you guys can get the word out, that would be absolutely sensational. We need 6669 to see the next car, do we? 6669. What's the next car? Oh, we've got a Viper on there. That's... Hang on. What's the Viper? Is that the 6669? I don't know. Anyway. I would have thought Viper's... No, Viper's 6.2, isn't it? So... Oh, right. So, hang on. I'm going to have a sneak preview. While he's not here, I'm going to sneak preview of the next car. Oh, they're not underneath. Right, okay. Forget that then. That didn't work. It's fine. Anyway. Can I just say also, these seats... I don't know if he's shown you. I'm going to just move the food out of the way here. You have to have a look at these seats. They are sensational. So these are NG Montego seats that Rich has constructed a rather nice custom base for. And I mean, they're amazing. I've just been sat in this one for oh, I'm out of shot. Hello! Just been sat in this one for however long it was. It's really, really comfy. Astonishingly so. And they have these super cool, I don't know if you can see this, these little tags that just have a grey and red stripe and a little 2.0 logo on them. They're absolutely brilliant. I mean, I've never sat in NG Montego seats before, and I could do so for quite a long time. Yeah, I might get Rich to make an office chair out of these for me, because they're absolutely blooming brilliant. So, yeah, our 6669 is the ultimate. Of course. Excellent. Yes. Well, we'll have to get there. I want to hear more about Steve's Ultima, actually. I'd wax lyrical about my D. So, when Rich comes back, I've got a little bit of a challenge for him to try and raise a bit more money. Because I haven't donated yet, and how much I donate is going to be subject to how often I can get him to, or whether I can stop him from correcting me every time I say my car's a DS for this entire 2-hour stint. So look out for that. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with him. And in his tired state, we'll have to see how reflexive his need to correct me is. But yeah, so that's going to be fun. We'll have a good time. I think we're going to have fun. And as I say, you must remember to stay tuned because we've got an announcement at 8 AM. And it's going to be, I mean, I'd love to say it's going to be a bit special. It's a bit special for us. But it's worth staying tuned for. So, but anyway, I think I can hear him on his way back now. I think he's had a little sleep in the toilet. Rich, are you asleep?
No more.
He said not anymore. So that's good. He'll be back in a sec. Yeah, thank you all so much. How many people have we got talking at the moment? I can't actually see how many we've got on the chat. I don't want to press anything in case I screw something up. 78 people on the chat. 78 of you are up at 7 in the morning on a, what are we, Saturday, to come and watch this, and I can't thank you enough for doing so. And I hope more will join us later on, because, you know, I mean, it is one of the only 12 likes. Only 12 likes.
I'm just making a couple of paned Gymraeg.
A couple of what?
Paned Gymraeg.
Ah, so that's something Welsh.
Yeah,
it?
tea.
Ah, I see.
So it's just.
Let's hammer the like button. What good does the like button actually do?
I don't know. I think it's algorithm related.
Is it? Okay.
Because
I've been pressing it a lot, and I'm just like, I don't know what this does, but it does.
Spamming it.
Is it? Yeah, basically.
I'm kicking the anti-spam filter on.
Well, you know, I mean, that's the only way to do it, isn't it? Yeah. So go on, press the like button. Yeah, that's good. Go on, bit more. Come on, folks. That's good. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what it does. I think it just makes YouTube go, oh, this one is worth promoting.
Oh, good. Well, let's make it be promoted a bit more then, eh?
Sleep is for the weak. Don't say sleep. Oh.
Anyway, I've informed the viewers we have a special announcement at 8 a.m.
Yeah, 8 a.m, not 8 p.m.
As I originally
wrote
said.
p.m. on the.
I originally said p.m. When I first got in here, I sat down and said we've got an announcement.
Oh, you did it as well?
Yeah, I corrected myself, fortunately.
It's easy done.
So they won't try coming back at 8 p.m. tonight for our special
announcement.
Try.
They
can have a go. Would have done it by then, I suspect.
I should imagine I'll be asleep.
Hey, do you want some breakfast?
I will in a minute. I'm making my tea, my cup of.
I brought some fruit as well, because I thought you probably haven't had much fruit.
I have got fruit here.
You haven't.
I just haven't eaten it.
Well, when I came in last night, I came in and presented you with a box of Krispy Kremes, and I saw a massive Domino's pizza, and I thought, that boy's going to need some fruit in the morning.
Yeah.
So I got you some fruit because you need something to keep your energy up. There's some orange juices, and I've got 3 double bacon and egg McMuffins, and 3 double sausage and egg McMuffins.
Ooh.
So your choice is yours as to which.
Still got half a pizza left.
Got a couple of hash browns as well, so I know you don't like hash browns.
I'm not mad on hash browns.
I thought I'd give you the option. No, I love them. I love a hash brown.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the minority. It is Welsh tea I'm having.
How are we doing? I need to look up. Sorry, I need to go to Lisbon. Jeff, I mean, you know, you don't need to apologise, mate. It's a joy to have you. Thank you for joining us. And thanks to everyone for joining us. It's really nice that you're here. I'm going to have some coffee. I don't know. I know you don't drink coffee, but I could do with some.
You can have some.
Yeah, I'm going to.
You're allowed to.
Yeah. Amazing. Right.
Payment service won't let me pay twice, so make sure to donate as much as you're willing the first time.
Well, that's a good tip.
No, that shouldn't be the case, because a number of people have. I suggested people donated, like, if you're going to donate £60, for example.
Yeah.
Donate £20 3 times, because then you get 3 entries into the prize draw.
Yeah. Now, talking of donations, I have a little. You can influence. I haven't donated yet. And you can influence how much I donate. Because when this live stream is over, I'm going to donate 50 quid. But I'm going to double that if you can, for the entire 2 hours I'm here, not correct me about my D Special being a DS.
What, you mean every time you call it a D
DS?
Special, I don't call it a DS?
No, every time I call it a DS, you don't say it's not a DS. If you say it's not a DS, Sophie's Legacy's down 50 quid.
That's evil.
You have to just let me get away with it for 2 hours.
Am I allowed to be violent as long as I don't say it's not a DS?
You're allowed to be violent, just not towards my person or the car.
Hit me anywhere in my body, but don't touch my face. Is that worth it? Do you think? It probably is. It probably is worth it, isn't it?
I think it's got to be worth it.
It probably is worth it, but people will be knowing that this will be hurting me inside.
I know, that's the point. This is one of your challenges for the day. It's my challenge to you. So there you go. I think everyone should check if they can do a repeat donation by donating again. Yes, very good point. 9216. What?
No, it must be 6216.
6216, yeah, it must be. Yeah. Somebody's just given £3,000.
Carly, for the love of God, don't do that. I was just about to pack up and go home. I was just like, that'll do. I'm gone.
Can I just say also, I've been meaning to say this, I think we should acknowledge the amazing job that Hubnut and Miss Hubnut have been doing. Not only has Rich been fantastic, but his support team in the shape of Hubnut and Miss Hubnut have been absolutely tremendous throughout this whole thing.
Everyone's good. Katie was great as well.
Yeah,
she stepped in.
I meant to say, of course, Katie, who's been about overnight and I think just logged off just before I got here, which, you know...
Yeah, she said she hated you.
Oh, really?
And she couldn't stand to see your face.
I mean...
And she had to leave, otherwise she'd be sick.
To be fair, she's not the only one. I mean, there are quite a lot
that's
of
what your wife says.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah. Don't blame her.
Yeah, so...
Anyway, do you accept the challenge? I've just accepted it for you.
It's got to be... Well, I don't know. You see, I'm a man of principle. It's kind of not, you know? But,
right.
I've got to try and act for 2 hours.
You have, for 2 hours. While I talk about my DS. He's actually left the room. It's so hard to do. He's actually left the room. Anyway, yeah, as I say, I just want to say an enormous thank you to Carly and to Ian, because really, you know, I think certainly Ian being here last night was an amazing help. And I know, Carly, you kept that link coming up time and time again, and that is just tremendous because I'm sure you've contributed massively to that total. So well done, top work. And can I also say well done to every other guest who's been on overnight in the small hours, including some very good friends of mine who I haven't been able to watch yet because I was sleeping. But I will be catching up on later on. Yeah, you know, I'm really looking forward to watching that. And thanks to you all for joining us.
Are you being all positive?
I'm being all positive and you know, and thanking people for their contributions to your live stream.
You have to.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to G things up, you know, and bring you...
You haven't cheered me up. You've made me feel terrible. I can't tell my truth.
I'm here to be a light of positive sunshine. A ray of positive something.
Sun rays are toxic.
Then I'm true to form.
Yeah.
Dear. Anyway, thank you for rolling away with my DS last night.
Yes. For a DS, it made a very low power figure. Nearly as much power figure as a D Special would make. But even worse than that. But it is my pleasure. You are welcome.
I can see how this is going to go. What was this? I think it's like, oh, that's the bank, is it? Oh dear. Coffee, 2 sugars, please. Parents going in the washing machine. How can you not like an oily hash brown? Oh, well, quite. I completely agree.
I don't like hash browns.
I love a hash brown.
I don't like the texture. Not the outside, because it's a bit like a chicken nugget.
Yeah, it's crispy on the outside.
Yeah, but
it's the middle bit. It's a bit slimy in the middle. Yeah. To be
I'm
fair,
not a massive onion fan.
No, to be fair, McDonald's hash browns are a bit slimy in the middle, so I do understand that.
If you call Nescafe coffee, you can call D Special or Super a DS. Do you call Nescafe coffee?
I do. Not that I drink it, but I do call Nescafe coffee.
What is the yellow and green touring car on the shelf? Well, there isn't a yellow and green touring.
There's a yellow and blue one, and there's a gold and green one.
Yeah, it's one of those two, I'm guessing.
Well, that one's a Peugeot 406.
Yes.
And that one over there that I can't quite reach is a Renault Laguna.
Yes, that is Alan Menu's Renault Laguna from 1995.
That was a good era for touring car racing, wasn't it?
The best.
Yeah.
And this was the 406 was arguably, was that the best looking touring car?
I think that was the prettiest.
The Ultron 406.
Yeah.
But it was also not competitive in the slightest.
I mean, I was quite partial to the old Volvo 850 Estates. I wouldn't call them pretty, but they were awesome.
They put an inflatable dog on the roof.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I love the 850s. I still want the 850s made me want a Volvo, and I still want a turbo Volvo Estate of some description to this day. I haven't quite done. That's one of the boxes I haven't quite ticked yet.
I'm not. I've already upset people like Volvos earlier on. So.
Oh, really?
Well, I said that I didn't really like.
To be fair,
I respect him. Good.
Yeah, I think you don't have to like everything as long as you can see when a car is good and respect it.
Excited by it.
Yeah, I think we get too hung up in the classic car world on. Oh, you don't like this thing that I like. Well, why not? And actually,
what's wrong with me?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of insecurity. It's okay, we all like different things as long as you're not openly abusive towards the person who likes something you don't. I think there's a line there. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's one of those things is that we sort of forget, especially in this world of social media where we go on social media and put a picture of something we like up, and someone says I don't like that. It's very easy to get, oh, why don't you like that?
Well, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? Yeah, you do. I get that too. I'm not.
Because a lot of people probably say they don't like you.
Yeah, I mean, quite a lot. Especially when I try and make them say things about my car.
Nothing personal.
No, yeah, I mean,
just the things you say and the way you look
and the smell
and your personality. The smell is. I wasn't going to mention the smell at all.
This is quite rich talk coming from someone who's sat here for the last 12 hours.
I can taste my teeth. It's disgusting. I have got deodorant.
I will be completely honest with you. I can't smell you from here, so I think you're doing all right. To be fair, I can smell McDonald's from here.
Yeah, I'm going to have one.
That's what I can smell, so it's probably masking.
Sort me out.
What do you want? Go on.
What was the two?
It's double bacon and egg and double sausage and egg.
Oh, it's snappy bacon.
Have a bacon. There you go. One bacon
Thank
for you. I'm going to have a sausage. There's
how much
orange juice as well if you want it.
Thank you. It says Kimo says how much from the original car did they retain in the touring car series in the 90s?
No idea. Some. The engine had to be a production engine, didn't it?
Do you know more than they probably do now? Actually,
definitely.
Because although a lot of it is different.
Yeah.
And as the year went on, so like in the early 90s, they were a lot more similar than they were by the end of the 90s.
Yeah,
It's gone bonkers.
Yeah.
But like the engine in that 406 is based on the BX engine.
They did that didn't they? Bringing engines from other parts of the. It had to be based on a production engine, but not necessarily one fitted to that car.
Yeah, well, it had to be in-house. But the French 406s were built by Peugeot. The British ones were built by some British company, and they weren't anything like as competitive. So they did all that. I mean, the Mondeo used the V6.
Well, the V6 of the Mondeo was a Mazda V6, wasn't it?
See, I don't know. I think the early one was. I think the Radisich one was.
The Mark 1.
But I think the Rapid Fit one, the later one, I'm pretty sure that was Geratech based.
Oh, was it?
It stroked down to 2 litre. And it was mounted so low in the engine bay that the right-hand drive shaft passed through the V of the engine.
Amazing.
Because the diff was higher than the engine block.
I like that.
For weight distribution.
When I was, back in the day when I was working on the Ford magazine, I got to meet the chap who bought the Rapid Fit team from Ford. The whole team. The cars, the spares, the wheels, the tyres, the whole lot. He also had the Radisich Mark 1. And he used to go and race them in classic touring car series. And in this little lock-up in South Wales, he had one of the Rapid Fit cars and the Radisich car part next to each other. The other one was somewhere else. And the walls were clad with all the spares. So he had doors and bumpers and things like that. And I just thought, A, how do you end up in that position? A, to be able to afford it, and B, to be in conversation with Ford when they want to sell their touring car team. It's quite a good position to get yourself into. And B, how much must that cost? I mean, how much must that cost? But also, did Ford just they wanted out at that point, didn't they? So it might not have cost them quite as much.
No, the series ended. Ford stayed to the end. So the series was like the Mondeo was redundant. They couldn't run it.
That's true. Yeah. So how much can you actually charge for a redundant touring car?
Because it cost £2 million to build.
Yeah, but
in 1999,
it's not something you can just stick on Auto Trader, is it? So
no,
it's a very limited market.
There was an Accord Super Tourer up the other day, which the Accords weren't. For a couple of years they were okay, but they weren't that competitive all the way through, and that was 80 grand.
See,
still hot.
I don't think that's much for a bona fide touring car from the 90s. I think 80 grand is a bargain.
Who's keeping count of the number of times we avoid the correction?
I don't mind an avoidance. It's the correction. If he corrects me once, well, maybe not once, but I might let him have one because he's tired. But yeah, we just got to try and I've just got to make him try and say my car's a DS as many times as I can.
It's $2 million the program cost. I might have. I thought it was more. I thought the cars were over $1 million each. There was 3 of them.
Mm. You know better than I do because I don't know much about.
I can't remember.
And my knowledge of motorsport in general, and particularly that sphere, I loved it to bits in the 90s watching it, but I just don't know much about it. Because I was about 6 or 7 at the time. Primera, quite a cool looking car as well. Looking at that poster you got there.
The Primera.
The Primera's livery was very cool.
The Primera was the best car in that year. 99.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I remember the Laguna being very good.
Yeah.
Which would have been
95.
Okay.
Well, not 94.
That was quite early on.
Came out.
And then the Audis came in with 4-wheel drive and just trounced everyone one year. I remember that. And then next year they had to not have 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, they only one of them did because Frank Beeler and John Bincliffe.
Mm-hmm.
Beeler was quick. John Bincliffe not so much.
Mm-hmm.
But the Audi was heavy. So I think there were certain occasions where it was just eating its tyres because it was just so heavy in the dry tracks. But in the wet, they just had this advantage. But yeah, the Laguna won it one year. Cavalier, Cladden won in the Cavalier 95.
Yeah, I think because my interest probably picked up in 95 into 96. I remember going to see them at Thruxton one year, and it was when Derek Warwick was driving for Alpha.
That was Alpha's first year. No, Alpha's first year was 94. And the car was, I think it was 94.
So it's probably 95 that I went to see.
No, it was 94 the year they won. I can't remember, my head's gone.
That doesn't matter.
But they had one year Alfa Romeo, they had to sell a road car that was the same, and they put this aero kit on it.
Yeah.
And they put the spoiler and everything in the boot of the road car.
I just love that. Renault did it a bit too, didn't they? They sold a special edition Laguna Airflow, which was like a 1.8 litre Laguna that just had the spoiler from the touring car on it to homologate the spoiler.
No one bought one.
They called it... No, someone did. The bloke who lived over the road from me had a Laguna Airflow. It was the most ridiculous looking thing, just a completely normal car with a massive spoiler on the back of it. It was so silly. At least that's the story I heard anyway. I can't corroborate that.
The thing with the Alpha was that it wasn't actually the aero that made a difference.
Wasn't it like the track or something?
There was in one of the races it went off and ripped the splitter off at the front.
Right.
And it was just as quick. Apparently it was the diff. It had a trick diff in it. Yeah, the others just weren't up there with the technology with the diff.
Yeah.
Next year they caught up.
Yeah. I tell you what.
And the Alfa Romeo quit halfway through the season.
Did they?
Yeah, they got the ump at one of the tracks. Throw their toys out.
That's such an Alfa Romeo thing to do.
I can't remember what it was about. Yeah, they just took their ball away and went in.
Amazing. It's such a typical. So one of the things we have, because for those who have never met me before, I'm a motoring journalist, and one of the things we often joke about among motoring journalism circles is the fact that if you go on a Fiat or Alfa Romeo launch, inevitably the launch will involve a flight to Milan, then a 2 to 3 hour journey on the bus to somewhere, then a long lunch, then you might get an hour with the car, and then a long dinner, and then a hotel, and then a 3 hour bus journey back to the airport, then a long wait in the airport, and then home. This is inevitably the format of any Fiat or Alfa Romeo launch, because and it's so funny.
Even now, even though they're like scientists,
even now, it's quite funny how true to form it can be sometimes.
Is it because they don't want you to remember the car?
I mean, I couldn't possibly. You might think that I couldn't possibly comment.
then we give you the wine.
Yes, that's pretty much it. I suspect it's more because a lot of motoring journalists, not necessarily British motoring journalists, but journalists from other countries quite like to be wined and dined. Some British motoring journalists as well.
You know, I just want to go home.
I mean, I just want to drive the car. That's
Yeah.
what I'm there for. You know, because, without wishing to sound all, holier than thou, we do have a job to do. You know,
Oh, there we go.
I know it's hard to believe.
I am a professional.
We do actually have a job to do, and I have to come back and be able to turn copy on a car and actually say whether it's good or not. And when you're sitting on a bus, sometimes a non-air conditioned bus, it's quite hard to do that. So it can be quite frustrating at times.
I just thought, how are we okay for sound?
That's a very good point. I mean, you seem to be hearing us.
Well, I bought mics and everything.
Have you?
I've not used any of them.
I think we're fine because I prattled on for about 10 minutes before you got in here, and people seem to be hearing that.
To be fair, I could hear you from in there, so I think your voice is clearer than mine.
Nah, well, that's something.
Well,
Sounds good, right? That's fine.
That's okay.
Do you want a bacon roll?
No, I'm all right at the
Right,
moment.
okay.
I was still finding those in Clement last year. like a week later, I was like, "What the hell's that?" Oh.
Am I right in thinking you wanted to have them later on, but your wife denied you she told you weren't allowed?
Oh, yeah, something about food poisoning.
Ah, rubbish.
Boring.
Fine. Yeah, what could go wrong with a 10-hour-old McDonald's? Actually, 10-hour, I'd be alright with that.
You get the shit.
I'd stick that in the microwave and try that. I'd be alright with that.
If you put it in the microwave, I think the bacteria multiplies.
I'm sure that's not the case.
I think it's the case.
I'm sure it's fine. It can't. I mean, I've probably done it before in my youth.
Oh, I've done it, yeah,
I've
of course.
not died. So,
I had a Domino's that was 3 days old, stuck it in the microwave, and had it for lunch once. It was alright. Bit of indigestion.
It's a bit. But something's. It's not. It's going to stay down. We're going to keep it down. It's fine. Everything's fine. Dear. So So what's next on my DS?
So, as your job as a motoring journalist, right? What is the worst car you've ever driven on a launch?
On a launch, it's a difficult one. I think probably I'd have to say the worst I've driven in terms of its fitness, because I'm quite careful about judging things in terms of their fitness for purpose. You know, I get a thrill out of a car that does what it's supposed to do really well. I like a fast car, obviously I enjoy driving a fast car, but I also actually get a little bit of a nerdy kick out of a car that actually does what it's supposed to do very, very well, which is probably why I like Citroens, because they set out to be one particular thing and they did that very, very well. Earlier Citroens, I mean. And the most recent ones as well, actually.
Really?
Yeah, the most recent ones do actually do what they're supposed to do. In terms of, they aim to be very, very comfortable, which by the standards of modern cars, they are.
But by the standards of older cars, they're not.
I mean, by the standards of an old Citroen with proper hydrodynamic suspension, probably not. But certainly they're a cut above most modern. I mean, I did an EC4 launch the other day, which is their new electric kind of crossover, and it is by far and away the most comfortable EV I've driven. You know, really, really smooth. Admittedly, that was on French roads, so I want to just check that still holds true.
Everything's smooth on French roads.
And this is the problem, and this is why manufacturers like taking you away to another country for a launch, because the roads in Spain and in France are so much better than here. And it's why quite often what we'll do is you'll do the international launch and then you'll do a UK drive as well, just to check that what you found on the international launch still holds true in a right-hand drive car on a British road, so that you're not telling people stuff based on a left-hand drive car in a spec that you can't buy here.
Right.
I mean, Vauxhall, for example, sell an Astra, I think it's called the Elegance, that you can't, it sits
Elegant Astra.
I'm saying nothing. It sits between the GS line and the Ultimate, which are like two trim levels. The GS line is kind of sporty looking, the Ultimate's the top of the range. You can't buy the Elegance here, but all the launch cars were Elegance trim. So, you know, you're driving a car that actually you can't buy. So you really, it makes sense to drive it in the UK. Anyway, to your original point, the worst car in terms of fitness purpose that I've driven was probably the SsangYong Turismo, which is their sort of, it's a people carrier, but because SsangYong are an off-road, a 4x4 company, it's also four-wheel drive underneath. Now that elicits certain compromises in terms of packaging.
So you have the whole point of a people carrier where you've got a low floor and a high roof. You no longer have the low floor.
You need a...
Does that mean the roof needs to be higher, or does it mean you have to be shorter person?
I mean, they've actually managed it. So you've obviously got to have a big transmission tunnel traveling through the thing to get the drivetrain out to the back. But it's not just that. It's that, you know, if you imagine, look at a car from the top and it tapers toward the back, doesn't it? So the car gets smaller in width towards the back generally. So there's less width.
Well, they're normally wider in the middle, aren't they? And then
that's exactly it.
Unless it's a DS.
So in a car in which you have a two-seat, a three-seat, and a two-seat orientation, where would you put the three-seat bit? I think you know where I'm going with this.
See where this is going.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess, and I'm just throwing this out
Yeah.
there, that they put it in the back.
Yeah.
When you would think you should put it in the middle.
Yeah, if you look at a Peugeot 3008 or anything like that, sorry, 5008 or anything like that, your S-Max, 3 seats are in the middle, aren't they?
My wife's
Two seats in the back. Your wife's S-Max.
My wife's S-Max. I don't have an S-Max. Oh.
I've got a DS. Did you know that? Anyway, in the Turismo, the 3 seats are at the back in the narrow part of the car, and you have 2 captain's chairs in the middle, and then 2 seats up front. It's kind of good if you want to carry 4 people, but I can't understand
why. The access is okay, it's decent.
Yeah, and you can walk through, but also the 3 seats at the back are very narrow and very small.
Quite between the wheel arches, I suppose.
It's just a horrible thing to drive.
Oh, right.
It's a hateful.
And you're trying to make arguments for the seat. There's no point making arguments for the seat because the rest of it is gap.
I didn't like it at all. And it's it feels like a car from probably 20 years. Well, when I drove it, it felt like a car from 10, 20 years ago. You know, and it's just not a great thing. It just wasn't great. I drove it because I drove it across. I actually drove it to Geneva. Drove one to the Geneva Motor Show as part of a Sanyong press trip, and I drove a Rexton, a Turismo, and a Tivoli. These are all Sanyong models.
Oh, Rexton.
Rexton. These are all models of Sanyong car. And the Turismo, I mean,
What's
none of them are great.
What's the horrendously ugly people carrier they did?
That's the Rodius, which is
Yeah.
the predecessor to the Turismo. And the Rodius was just as, flawed, shall we say, as the Rodius. I never drove a Rodius, but the Turismo was the Rodius' successor. And it's marginally prettier, but it's a bit like saying that, an egg sandwich is marginally tastier than poo, It's
a lot tastier.
Yeah, I suppose I'm going for the low bar there.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm trying to imply, is that it's a fairly low bar.
Right.
Anyway, what was I going to say? They were all a bit not great, but yeah, the Turismo was the least good of the lot.
So what's the one you've come away buzzing that is brilliant? Not necessarily the one that you enjoyed, out of fun, just the one where you went, that is a damn good car.
Well, the one that's currently my lottery win, and I kind of always have a lottery win car ready because as a motoring journalist, the thing you get asked the most is what's the best car, what's your favourite car?
Yeah.
And I think the one I'd go out and buy tomorrow if I won the lottery is probably a Bentley Continental GT. And I know you're going to do that. Obviously you are. But the current Continental is a tremendously good car.
Is that the Bentley?
No, I think that was actually a Flying Spur that she was doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the Continentals are it's basically a 2-door Flying Spur, if you can imagine. So the Continental's the coupe, the Flying Spur's the 4-door.
Right.
And the Conti, the latest, the previous Continentals were a little bit flawed in that they were a bit kind of big and heavy, and they felt a bit. You could tell the Volkswagen the Volkswagen Group underpinnings. This one, it really does feel like its own thing, and it is just. It ticks all the boxes in terms of fitness for purpose, and it also just you get in and it just makes you feel amazing from the minute you get in and drive it. I love them. I think they're fabulous, and I say that unbiased. I'm not biased towards Bentleys or anything like that. But if I was to go and win the lottery, I'm afraid that's exactly what I'd buy. And then after that, I'd go and buy an SM.
What, just so you could go, hey, look, Rich, that mine works. How would you like that?
I did that with the DS. Oh, this is fun.
Oh, I'm going to have a stroke.
Come on, folks. Surely this is worth your money. Look at the suffering this man is going through. Look at this poor man.
He's calling a car something that it isn't.
This has got to be worth your donation. You have to come and get. Where are we at now? I think Carly's just done an update, hasn't she? 6291. Let's give it a bit of a refresh up here. 6306. 6306.
Oh.
It's like a Peugeot with a 6 on the beginning of it.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. Wow. It's like a Peugeot with a 6 in front of it.
Yep. I'm standing by it.
This is...
Do you want a bacon roll?
No, thank you, not at the moment.
Do you want orange juice?
No, thank you, not at the moment. Right, we'll
Are you pleased you invited me?
It's supposed to be like... Oh, I feel worse than when before you got here, to be honest. This is just... Aren't all cars superleggera after 10 years? They were banned at Alton Park, so we've gone back here.
What was banned at Alton Park?
I'm guessing that's the Alfa Romeos.
Ah, were they? Oh, I didn't know that.
There was something, yeah, there was something like they were banned, and instead of Alfa threw their toys out about something in a proper fit about it.
Really?
And I think it was something along the lines of, well, look, you can modify your car to comply with the rules.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no, we'll just go home. But you're from Italy, so we'll just go. We'll take our car. And they literally left and entered another Formula.
And BTCC went, all right, off you go then.
They went, wow. Bitch fit. Get a load of that.
Sensational.
So,
what else we got? And now back with my Mackie D's. Somebody else has got Mackie D's breakfast. Shout out to the Mackie D's breakfast crowd. I missed that. It's gone. Devil's Peugeot. Has he stayed awake when I say?
Ian has just donated, right? And the hilarious thing with that is that he might win his own T-shirt. And if he does,
he said £19, so we're not in the giveaway.
Ah,
good man.
So badly wanted him to win his own T-shirt. It'll be hilarious.
That's sensational.
We've done £300 worth of magnets. 300.
Wow.
What? How many have sold? 30.
What are they? 10 quid each?
£9.99.
£9.99. But well, I'll have one of those. That's
no, you can buy it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I mean.
So
can I have a look?
No, you were planning on taking it. You're so entitled. It's.
I mean, I am a motoring journalist. That's.
I see something and I'm like, I would have one of those.
Oh,
for free.
really? Thank you. Yeah, great, lovely.
But yes, it's.
Actually, I've got a story about that. One of the best motoring journalist stories I have. I don't know who it was, but I understand that.
Oh, he doesn't know who it was.
A friend came back. Was supposed to go on a launch. So when you go on a launch, quite often a manufacturer will give you a little freebie. It might be a little toy car. It might be I have a Citroen.
Toy car.
I have a Citroen branded lunchbox at home. I'm not joking. A mug or something like that.
What the hell am I supposed to do with that?
I'm saving it for my children are older. I can send them to school and really embarrass them.
I said they'll have to learn to fight before they can learn to walk, won't they?
This is great, by the way. This is that wood. It's lovely.
It's burnt wood.
It's really
So's that.
gorgeous.
They
It's
cut
really
that.
lovely.
It smells like burnt wood. It's amazing. Laser cut.
Anyway, this particular journalist was supposed to go on launch and then couldn't. And then once the launch had happened, he then emailed the PRs, having heard what the freebie was, and asked for the freebie, despite the fact he hadn't gone on the launch. I can't imagine having the brass neck to think that's something that's okay to do. I can't imagine just being like, yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to email and ask for whatever it was. I don't know what the freebie was. But
Because the thing is, they're probably going to say yes.
Well, that's the thing.
Because they don't want you to go, oh, I can get the ump. Because then the next time you review one of their cars, which is just such a tragic...
Think of it from the point of view of the PR, to not pee off that journalist, it makes sense just to send them the toy car or whatever. So they'll probably say, oh yeah, sure, that's fine, and send it. But they're probably thinking, wow. They're sitting there in their office going, wow, this guy, you know. And the thing is...
And his name was what?
I have no idea. Alex Robbins. No. No, I mean...
Sounds like a right club.
He's got a DS.
It's not you then.
Exactly. Yeah, very good. You know, quite often they'll send it out, but the thing is, in this game, I do think your reputation is everything. Particularly, even with the PRs, you know, you will always write a review honestly, but equally, if you go around shouting and kicking and screaming and demanding things, you know, you are not going to get the plum invitations from the PRs to do the stuff that might be a good story. You know, you have to. There's a fine balance, and you have to be very careful about it because obviously, you know, you get on, you work with PRs for manufacturers and you get on well with them, you always have to remain impartial because you have to review a car honestly every time. You know, you that's your primary objective and nothing can change that. And generally, PRs are quite accepting of that fact. You know, if, it's not the case that if you turn in a bad review of a car, a PR will be kicking down your door screaming, "Why have you done a bad review of my car?" I think I've only actually had that phone call with a PR once after a bad review in 10 years of doing this. Because generally...
what car was it?
I wouldn't... Well, okay, I'll tell you. It was a Peugeot 2008, and I'd given it 3 stars and they felt it deserved more. So it wasn't... I wouldn't say it was a kicking down the door. It was just a, "Why have you done this?" And I replied saying, "This is why I've done this."
Because it was out of 100. Like... You've done us dirty here, Alex. This is...
and as I say, I think I said, well, this is why, you know, because it was too expensive for what it is. It's a bit cramped in the back and so on and so forth. And I think up against its rivals.
So upset, they called you.
Oh, they emailed me.
They emailed you and said, "Why have you said such mean things?" And then you replied and told them how bad their car was.
Yeah. Because that's what you have to do as a journalist. You know, you have to say, well, yeah, this is why I gave it. You have to be able to back up your opinions, because otherwise, you know, where are you? You know.
I agree.
So as I say, you know, generally it's not a thing. Where it does start to become a problem is if you're a journalist and you go around kicking and screaming and pretending, you know, acting like you own the place. Because I think
as my kids would say, acting like you're the main character.
Quite exactly that. Exactly that. I think, you know, some journalists do forget the art of being respectful and tactful to these people who are also doing their job. Their job is to try and make you say nice things about their car. And they don't do that by saying, you know, say nice things about our car. They do that by taking you to a nice hotel and putting you in a nice restaurant and giving you nice food somewhere in Spain where the weather's nice, so that you'll be in a nice frame of mind and have the best possible view of their car. Your job as a journalist is to go, right, forget all that.
See through it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what your job is, basically. I think.
I would be a poor journalist. Because I'd be like, that was a lovely hotel.
I don't think you would, actually. I think you're pretty objective about these things.
No, but I don't. But I'm like, in many ways, I don't care what like if I upset people. But in select cases, I feel bad. If someone's trying hard to do something.
Yeah.
That's the bit you have to.
That's the bit you have to override.
Yeah, I'll be like, I feel bad. Like they're trying. Like they probably don't think it's good either, but it's their job.
But this is the thing. It's actually quite often a PR. Some of the PRs who are in the industry, who I know, used to be journalists. So when they get that car,
they know it's bad.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes they do. They'll and also don't forget. I think something a lot of people don't realise is that a lot of these press offices, they will borrow each other's cars. They will lend, so Toyota will lend a car to Honda.
Oh, you told me that,
Toyota, with a view that they can all get an idea of what the market's like. And, you know, you might think to yourself, well, why would a press office lend a car to a competitor? But it's a case of, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You know, because for them, it makes sense that they can get competitive product in to evaluate it up against their car and see where the benefits are and the downsides. And then they can emphasise those benefits to journalists, you see. So if they are all doing it, it makes sense for them all to do it because they all help each other out. So there's quite a lot of that goes on, and I think therefore a lot of PRs really do actually have quite a good understanding of where their car sits in the market. So if what you're saying is, you know, an accurate and fair criticism, they generally don't come back to you about it because they probably, not always, but they might think the same thing themselves.
Yeah.
Or if they don't think the same thing themselves, if you can justify that criticism and explain it in copy, and you're saying, well, look, you know, I think this car isn't as good as the competitors because the boot space is demonstrably smaller, it doesn't drive as well, and it's far too expensive.
Yeah.
You know, those are things you can say, well, I mean, the price is higher, you get less equipment, the value is not there. You can't really argue against that, if you see what I'm saying. So generally, it's not too much of a problem, I don't think, if you're reviewing accurately and reviewing well. But I do think it's, you know, it behoves you as a journalist to remember that these people are doing a job. And they are trying their hardest. So kicking and screaming about, oh, why did such and such get a car and I didn't get a car, you know, and that sort of thing is just, it's off the table, basically. So there you go. It's a little
bit of insider behind what it's like in the car world. It's not as you think.
No, well, I mean, I think...
Unless you're a motor journalist, in which case you know what it's like and it's exactly what you think.
Unless you're a motoring journalist, in which you are the main character, as
You are the main character.
Or you think
You are the only person driving this car who has an opinion.
The other problem is, quite a lot of motoring journalists spend a lot of their time being buttered up by PRs, and I think it's a trap to fall that you have to be careful not to fall into. That you spend your life being, having people go, oh hi, how are you? Great to see you, la la. Oh, come and have that. Oh, this is great in here. This is and it's very easy when people are being nice to you to get an inflated ego, to have people blow smoke up your backside. Sorry, I'm trying not to demonetize you here. I'm being very careful because I swore too much last time.
Who demonetized? You did demonetize it last time, but this time,
yeah.
James Walsh. he didn't swear once.
Sensational. Misha was a bit sweary last night.
No, Misha got away with it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, fair play.
But number 27 didn't, despite the fact he didn't really swear. It's just because it's him.
This makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. No, because it won't be swearing. It will be something like you said the word like. There's a channel I watch.
Don't say the word.
No, there's a channel I watch called Casual Geographic.
Right.
No, it's nothing to do with cars.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's this guy, a young lad in America, who basically like stands with a little lapel mic, but he doesn't wear it. He just stands with it like that, and he talks into it, and he talks about animals, and he's like, yeah, he looks like he's a rapper or something like that, but his knowledge of the animals is completely at odds with. It's like a whole perception that what you perceive him to be like, and what he actually is like is fantastically different, and. He knows so much about animals and that. Yeah. But he says he's just got this wave of words. And like if he's talking about, like, if you go into, say, I won't say the words in case, but say you were to go into the rainforest or the Amazon or whatever and get into an entanglement with a lion, what would happen to you? His way of putting it would be to unalive yourself.
Ah, I see.
Or to erase yourself from the census.
Right.
Or turn yourself into a hashtag.
Yes.
And it's the way around the
algorithm. I see.
Yeah, because if there's certain words, I watched a video the other day. I can't remember who it was. It was really interesting, and they were talking about things that got it demonetized.
Yeah,
and it's like you can't swear in the first 12 seconds.
Really? So there's like a time limit on it?
Yeah, if you swear in the first 12 seconds, so that's why you'll watch some videos.
Yeah,
and they'll censor them to start with. And then after a while, they stop censoring them. You're like, well, why do it all? Why do some and not all of it?
Wow, that's
because if you do it in a certain time period, you get demonetized. Yeah. Whereas their logic, I'm guessing, is that if you censor it, if you beep it out, then the people who are watching it with their kids will be like, oh, we've had a warning shot there.
Right. Okay.
In case they don't want their kids to hear the words. Or I mean, to be fair, I think most these days, don't think anyone cares. Yeah. But in case. So you got a warning shot, and then later on. They're not censored, and I think that's to do with the demonetized. Although the worst thing to have, demonetizing isn't the worst thing. The worst thing is to become age restricted. Oh, right. Okay. Demonetizing, you can get video demonetized. If you don't agree with it, you can get it reviewed. Okay. They will look at it. Right. Age restricted, you get 3 strikes, and then your account is deleted. Wow. Completely. Yeah. And you can't. Even if you're age restricted. If you become age restricted. Yeah. Then you cannot put it on for under 18s. Oh, I see. Okay. So when you put videos on. Yeah. You can select whether it's suitable for kids or not. Okay. So most of the ones I put no because what kid would want to watch this? But so I just say don't put it on YouTube, kids. But if YouTube force you, you can get if you get one of them 3 times apparently. You're out. And you can't ask for a review or anything like that because that guy I watched, Rocket Powered Mohawk. He got one. Really, did he? Yeah, but he put a video out the other day. Yeah. 30 seconds long, part of a rant he did about Lance Stroll, and he just put the worst part of it out and put it as the thumbnail. For 30 seconds, I thought that's testing the water, isn't it? Yeah, he's like he doesn't care. That is just. We've got a lot to throw away there, but then, like he said, if you're a YouTuber and you rely on the ad revenue, you're missing the point. Well, quite, yeah. He said, there's just nothing in it. No, quite. Yeah, there's better ways of doing it. So if you bleep something out, that counts as censoring it. So that won't be. So if you bleep something out, that's okay. That's fine. So if you do that in the first 12 seconds, you're okay. I'm pretty good at not I'm pretty good at keeping it clean.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I'm more conscious of it this time than I was last time.
Well, yeah, no, I mean they
I think
slip
if you're
out.
aware of it, you can just keep
Yeah,
it in
no,
mind,
they slip out, but
I think it's one of those things, you know, because I've just started doing some filming recently, and I think it's one of those things you have to you develop a mindset of just having that in the back of your mind.
yeah,
But, you know, and I'm
A
not
mindset
very
of-
good at that yet.
a mindset of having it in the back of your mind.
A mindset of having it in the back
You
of
have
your
to
mind.
keep in mind the
Like,
mindset.
come on, Rich.
Keep it in
I've
the
not
back of your
had very
mind.
much sleep, all right. You know.
Oh no!
You know, it's been a, you know, I've only had like 5 or 6 hours. It's, you know. And I came here and saw my DS.
Are you trying to kill me? Oh, I've said it now. You trying to unalive me? Demonetise my stream.
I'm not only unaliving you, I'm also demonetising your stream. Aren't you glad you invited me?
It goes so well. Honestly, I will have a look and see if you're demonetised.
But the thing is,
You might just not like your face.
we might have a nice little segue in here.
What's the?
If you'll note the time, you're going to have to start teaching me about.
Oh
YouTube
right,
stuff.
yes.
So it's almost as though we planned it.
I can't be as official as that. I'll be like, just say it, just tell them.
We actually didn't plan it.
No, we don't plan
Do
anything.
you want to tell them? I think you should tell them. It's your stream. I think you should tell them.
Oh, so
Don't sound too enthusiastic about it.
I can't be enthusiastic about anything.
Right, well, this is our special announcement at 8 o'clock, just in case you
Yes.
were wondering. You know, Rich is sounding extremely excited about the whole thing, as you can imagine. It's a little project we've been working on for the last some months.
I am going to become a woman,
Yeah, and I
So-
fully support this
and
decision.
Alex supports me in that.
That's not the announcement. I think we should just point that out.
Oh, not that one. Oh, no. Okay.
I thought that was next month.
No, that's when the treatment starts.
Oh, I see.
No. So what we are doing is. Oh, look at David Chandler. It's 8 a.m.
Oh gosh, somebody's been waiting.
Wow. Look at that. Main character. It's 8 a.m. guys. Like, I'm not being funny. What am I paying for?
The announcement you've all been waiting for on the edge of seats with bated
Edge
breath.
of seats. It's not going to be. It's going to be a letdown.
This is the problem. We built this up a bit too
Yeah,
much. I
it's like,
feel like.
okay.
Yeah.
No, everyone sit back down. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a podcast. We're going to start a podcast, which is separate from this. It will go onto YouTube
Yeah.
as one of the platforms.
Yeah.
But it will be on podcast platforms when I know how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sort of leaning on Rich a bit here because his knowledge of YouTube and podcasting and things is a bit greater than mine.
It's still poor.
It's still greater
It's
than
just
mine.
less poor than yours. So, yes. So yeah, there'll be a podcast about, but it won't be like it won't be like, it'll just be everything with cars. It won't be a specific thing. It's not just going to be the stuff I do in my videos. It'll be everything.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It's kind of like modern and classic.
Yeah. I think the idea behind, we came up with this idea because
Yeah, it is about cars.
yeah, it is about cars. Yeah. We came up with this idea because obviously Rich we're both lovers of classic cars, but Rich is more steeped in classic car knowledge and culture than I am, and particularly in his day job as well. Whereas I'm probably in my day job more steeped in knowledge and understanding of modern cars. And we thought it might be interesting to combine those two aspects of car culture, because I think there are probably a lot of people who are interested in classic cars who find, you know, the developments in modern cars have run away in the last few years and it just gone beyond anything, you know, it used to be quite rapidly. And I also think there are a lot of people who have come into cars through a modern car on a PCP or something like that, would perhaps like to learn more about classics but don't know where to start. And I think the idea is that we can, between the two of us, possibly bridge that gap. And, you know, I can, where Rich is more sceptical about certain things about modern cars, Bentleys, for example, I'll have to try and get you into a Bentley at some point. You know, I can try and persuade him, and he can be the voice of the classic car owners who are a little bit more sceptical. And
It's not classic cars, it's chav cars. That's what I don't like.
I mean, I would be interested to see the Bentley PR's reaction if you try and put it in that his Conti was a chav car.
Oh, he's going to get his posh jacket, is he? And like get in a huff and look at his like £5 watch.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So go on then.
But also,
as I get a Saxo and drive away.
chav cars.
You're going to do it like properly, you know.
And then, obviously, from Rich's part, he's going to be able to bring a greater depth and understanding to classics that I have. Rich has taught me a lot of what I know about old Citroens, to be honest, and most of what I know about TVRs, given that I've had a TVR and an old Citroen. So, Rich's understanding of these things is vast and in depth, and I think between the two of us, we can try and, bring that world to people who might not be so. Bring both of those worlds to people who might not be aware of it, and also show that you can love cars whether you're interested in classics or moderns and love them all, if that makes sense. I'm not explaining this bit very well.
No, it's getting a little bit kumbaya.
The idea is that at the moment there's a lot of discord, and a lot of classic people don't like modern cars, and a lot of modern people don't like classic cars, and actually we'd quite like it if they did, because we're all car enthusiasts and we all like things with four wheels, and perhaps we can kind of bridge that gap between the two of us. Is that a better way of putting it? Mildly less kumbaya?
No, I like mine.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, there we go. We're doing a podcast. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to do a podcast.
Yay.
When are you thinking of launching, and how regularly will we be posting? Well, we don't have a launch date yet. We don't know how regularly we'll be posting yet, so that's good. But
it won't be as regular as we promise it'll be.
Probably not.
We will say one thing, and it will be something different.
Yeah, but we will try and make it regular, and we'll. But what you can do is we do have a Twitter account. You can go and follow us on Twitter at Overbore Pod if you would like to get updates and find out what we're doing, and we will tell you more about the podcast as we get it going and when we launch it. So you can find us on Twitter. As I say, it's at Overbore Pod. If you go and follow us there, if you're on the Twitter, I refuse to call it its new name. You can. We'll bring you updates. We'll let you know what we're doing, and we hope that it will be something that will be a podcast and a YouTube, and be hopefully of use and entertainment to some people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
literally some people.
Yeah, if it's more than one, then
I'll be chuffed as
that is some.
I'll be pleased as punch if it's more than one.
Does one count as some?
I think 2 counts as some. 3 counts as some. I think, doesn't it? If we can get through, that's our target.
But if you had a bag of Skittles and you weren't sure if it was empty or not, and you said there's some left.
3 would be, yeah. I'd be.
But if there was one in there,
that wouldn't be some.
No, but if you picked it up and said, "Is there some left in that?" and you go, "Yeah."
I would probably actually go, "Well, there's one."
Oh, you would, wouldn't you?
Have you seen my DS?
So Alex has done a logo, but there's no one on here, I don't think, who is OG. Who will remember?
OG, wow.
Who will remember the original Overbore origins?
Wow.
Because it's a
many,
name.
Many years.
It exists already.
Yeah.
And
well, it existed, I would say.
Existed briefly.
And it was retired after we didn't have time to do it anymore, really.
After we forgot the login. There was a forum. We went on it. Some people made some jokes that people got upset by. Everyone fell out, and that was the end of that.
Did they?
Yeah, there was some jokes. Yeah, I didn't fall out with anyone, which was surprising. But and we had a meet up once and ragged a load of cars around.
It's a good one.
Did we?
Yeah. Yeah, we all went down to Goodwood.
Oh, right.
Parked in the parking.
No.
Took some pictures.
So yeah,
it was a small community we tried to start a long time ago. And we called it Overbore.
We saw Piston Heads, and we were like, yeah, we could do that.
What other name sort of sounds engine themed? And we thought we were both quite boring at the time.
Yeah.
So, and the podcast maintains that theme. So
it will be boring if you can't sleep.
Yeah, be absolutely ideal.
Oh
yeah.
No, I can't sleep. Oh.
I was the wrong person to invite because I'm probably sending you to sleep right now, aren't I?
Yeah, so that will be. Oh yeah, my wife was on it, and so was her brother.
There you go. I was OG 20 years. Oh yeah. Is that Nat 20 years?
Yeah.
Hi Nat.
Boring at the time. She's being abusive again. Ignore her.
Overbore pod. Yes, you did hear that right, Vanny. At Overbore pod. That's right. So we're going to do a podcast, and we're going to talk about old cars and new cars, and things that might be arising in the news from old cars and new cars, and new leses,
and how SUVs are the spawn of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
They are the devil himself on 4 wheels.
And how actually they might not be.
No, they are the devil on 4 wheels.
Well, we won't do that yet, but we're going to talk about that at some point.
And they are, yes, and what was the other things? Max Power reunion, the comeback of Max Power,
Electric Classics.
They just that will get people like the gammons frothing at the mouth. You've taken away the character.
There was a good discussion on that last
night. And it's
a
Beetle.
Who was it you were talking about? Was it number 27?
No. Oh,
it was number 27, I think.
I thought I mentioned St. James as well.
Oh, did you? Okay.
No, it was number 27. Yeah, he asked me about the electric cars. Because he said he thought the DS would be a good candidate.
I think he's absolutely right now.
What would you know?
Oh, I've got a DS. You left the door open to that one.
That's why I said, what would you know?
Yes.
And I thought, I can't retort. I can't go back. Do it, man. We're inviting the striker to shoot on goal. Don't. DS for me is the prime candidate for an electronic conversion. I completely agree with his. We'll do this properly on the podcast, but I completely agree. We'll do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say properly.
We won't really do anything properly on the podcast.
No.
Sit and
first podcast review. Couldn't hear what you were saying. It's like you have one job to be heard.
That's what it's going to be, isn't it?
It's like poor quality audio, 1 out of 10. You're like, good start.
Yeah. But I think I completely agree with what number 27 was saying last night. Please don't let that chair break now.
These chairs, right? This is how good my design is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're mounted on a slope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Which is I can't remember the approximate degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But they are so stable that if I let the chair slide back at full pelt, it will not tip over. Ready?
Yep. Amazing.
Well, that
was quite full pelt.
That was
very, very fast.
That was anticlimactic.
Will it work with mine?
It was that one. I was sat on one the other day and it shot backwards. And as it shot backwards, my life went before my eyes. And I thought, this is going to hurt. And it just stopped. It didn't even, the front legs didn't even go like that. It just stopped. And I thought, wow.
Oh, I've done an amazing thing.
I just suddenly thought, I should be a safety guy. It's amazing. Because the rear legs are 20 degrees and the front legs are 12 degrees. Because I copied them from a school chair.
I should be a safety guy.
Yeah.
A safety guy.
Safety guy. People who do safety. High visors and stuff like that.
What with a hard hat?
Well, no, I don't need a hard hat. I mean,
you're just being ridiculous.
I tell people when they need a hard hat. So yeah.
Where are we at? 6676.
Wow, 6676.
So is that over the 6669 for the Ultima?
Yes, because 6676 is greater than 6669. I mean, technically, that means we've just gone on to the Ultima. But my whole target system has just completely fallen to shit. It's just, it's dead.
Oh.
So the car we've had on the wall for a while now is this Viper.
Yeah.
Which is the next target.
Oh, it's the next target?
Well, yeah, because I don't have a picture of an Ultima. I never did one, because I didn't think of it. But that's the biggest engine car I've driven. I'll say car, it's a truck, really.
Yeah.
Shaped like a car. So that is 8. I think it's 8295 cc on that, a V10 with many push rods, all going.
Yeah, when I came in, I thought I'm sure that's more than 6.2 litres.
Well, it still says it's a Peugeot 205 up here. That's how up to date my... All of this is just a waste of time. Completely. We started the stream...
Ambitious but rubbish.
We started the stream and all of them they'd already gone, so I just put them straight up there. I didn't even finish stapling that one to the wall.
I don't think you can call that rubbish, though, to be fair. The fact that you got that far without even talking on camera. I think that's pretty good going.
Yeah. I woke up this morning and we'd gone past the imp. So Hilda's here.
Where are we at now? I haven't actually had a look. Oh, it's 67.6, of course, we were just talking about it. Yeah. Jolly good.
I mean, I don't want people to stop, but I'm happy. You know.
100%.
Does that mean I need to put the target up?
Yeah, probably.
Can someone find out the CC of that Dodge Viper? So it's not an 8 litre Dodge Viper. I think it's an 8.2, or maybe it's an 8.3 or an 8.4. I can't remember. But if we find out the exact CC,
let's do that.
Oh, they can't see it.
Oh,
there's 2 people here. That's why.
It's my fault. It's always my fault. Do you want to just take it off the wall? That's it. There you go. I just hold it. I can't do this for the whole 3/4 of an hour we've got left.
Take the target on the lever from intermediate to high. I don't know what you mean, though.
Take the target.
8382. Oh, that's more than last year.
So if we hit the
Viper,
Viper,
we hit a Viper, we've beaten last year.
Right, well.
There you go. Let's amend this number.
That's what we're doing then, isn't it?
8382. So that is the largest engine car I've driven.
It's not working at all. Can I hang it on the Peugeot's wing?
No, you cannot hang it on the Peugeot's wing mirror. Heathen. No, be an engineer about it.
You know I'm not an engineer. I'm a motion journalist. I don't understand how cars work.
You understand how gravity works?
Yeah. The engineering side. Not an engineer. I can't even call my car the right name, can I? I mean, it's a DS, isn't it? He's good. He's banking it out now. It's very good. It's impressive. Only another 3/4 of an hour of this. It's good. Good. It's going well. Where are we at? If you want to have higher objectives, you could add up the engine sizes of every BX you had. I think he's too tired for that sort of maths, to be honest. How many BXs have you had now? Even that's going to be tricky.
I don't know.
I suppose it also depends on what you classify as a BX you've had. You know, if you bought one that was just for breaking or scrapping or...
I always just count if it's a car that's come into my ownership and it's a largely complete car.
Like if you've had your name on the V5. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I think that's a good way of doing it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is great television here. We're making great television.
7, 8, 9.
There's a man counting. Another bald man sitting next to him.
12, 13, 14, 15.
It's actually less than I thought. I was expecting 30 something.
No.
Although that is probably the most BXs of anyone in the world ever.
Yeah, there's someone in Wiltshire who has 40 now.
Oh my crikey. I mean, I love BXs, don't get me wrong. But 40 must be pretty much every version of every spec ever made.
He's got 40C.
He's got 40C. That's pretty good going. So he must be quite well off, and he's just spent all his money on BXs.
No, he hasn't spent all his money on BXs.
Oh, I see, right. Goodness.
I think I must have had 15.
Okay.
15 or 16.
That's actually less than I was expecting, to be fair.
But I can't remember, to be honest. I really can't remember. It would surprise you to know I've only had one diesel and one turbo diesel, and I never drove the turbo diesel.
Wait, was the diesel the estate?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you've only had one. I'm slightly surprised at that, I have to say. I would have thought you'd had quite a few diesels.
I've not had many diesel cars.
Mm.
I've had the two Xantias.
Yeah.
The Zara.
Okay.
C6.
Mm-hmm.
Picasso, I count.
Yeah, because that's, yeah.
It was a family car. I had a Fiesta briefly.
You had a Fiesta diesel?
A TD.
Whole thing?
A TDDI.
That's no fun.
No, but it was actually quite fun. The engine was very springy.
Springy.
It was just like a little coiled spring. Not a particularly strong spring, but it was like a little coiled spring.
Because I had a Fiesta, a Mark III Fiesta diesel, that I bought from Fairham, funnily enough, which I bought for 265 quid off eBay, and it was being sold by the son-in-law of the guy who used to own it, who was an old dude who'd had it since it was basically 3 years old, and he'd always had it serviced at Dove's Ford in Fairham. And this thing, I mean, the old chap passed away, so son-in-law was selling it, and I bought it. I almost kind of bought it because it was there, and it was a 1.8 diesel, so it was a naturally aspirated diesel, being a Mark III. And I got the train down here and picked it up and drove it home. And I've never encountered noise and vibration like it in a car. It was absolutely astonishing. I mean, to the point where it was comical. And what I was quite impressed with was that on the A3 it did 70 miles an hour. And the thing that I remember most about that drive was I got off the motorway up towards my house, came to the bottom of the slip road, I thought, oh no, something's broken. Because it's horrible, horrible noise, rattling, horrible noise. And I realised what I was hearing was the sound of the engine combined with the sound of the dashboard going like this.
The resonance.
That was just what it sounded like. That was literally what it sounded like. 7304? What happened there?
Someone
Good
donated.
grief!
Someone donated a
We have to have a
grand.
look. What's happened here? Somebody's been amazing.
No, you go back up. You must...
Do I have to go back up?
Yeah, it's on the right.
It's on the right. Is it? Somebody's donated $1,000.
1,000 Canadian dollars. Oh, mate. It's anonymous as well.
Wow.
That means I can't put him in the prize draw to win.
I mean, I'm going to be
Either
honest.
some really good prizes or a Hubnut t-shirt.
I'm going to be honest with you, Rich. Much though I think a Hubnut t-shirt is a wonderful thing, I think this chap it's probably not high on his list of priorities.
He spent too many years with doctors not diagnosing his cancer.
Wow.
Which is exactly what happened with Sophie.
Wow, that's...
She got passed off so many times.
I just wanted to say as well, by the way, I listened to Charlotte last night.
Mm.
She is an inspiration. Absolutely incredible.
You'd like to think that you'd be the same.
Like, literally, that is the best way of parlaying the worst situation into something.
But you take all that negative, energy.
Yeah.
Energy. I hate talking about that. But you suck it in and you turn it into like this.
It's an incredible thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. What they do is just amazing. And, you know, I thought she was absolutely tremendous. And her strength to be able to not just talk about what she does, but to be able, to be able to do it for starters, to go back into hospitals after the trauma. Can you imagine what that must be like? You know, a hospital must feel like all of those memories. At first, when she started doing it, there must be all those memories coming flooding back every time she walked into a hospital. To push past that and go, no, this is necessary. And it's bigger than my feelings.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, that must just take the most tremendous strength. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So what she's done is absolutely amazing, and it really is a legacy. I mean, the name says it all. It is a legacy, and what she's turned it into, the memory of her daughter. You would like to think if that happened to your kids, and you're right. You know, when you said last night about when it's your kids, it's bigger than everything.
Yeah,
everything else. To be able to turn that into what she's turned it into is absolutely astonishing. I just think it's absolutely incredible. And I was going to say as well, she was talking about struggling to find people in and around kind of the Royal Marsden. Well, I'm not far from the Royal Marsden, so if she needs people to drive stuff up there on a Saturday or a Sunday night, I'm available. You know, so please, put us in touch. I've also got two hospitals. I've got the Croydon University Hospital and East Surrey within easy reach of me, so I can arrange things for those hospitals, or I can drive things if they need to be driven or whatever. I can help. So Charlotte, if you're watching, you have a willing volunteer here, and if you're not watching, Rich will.
You're talking to yourself.
I'm talking to myself. Hello.
Hello, me on the camera.
But yeah, I'd love to help, and if it's of use, then I'm there. So. This is an amazing cause, folks. It really is quite something, and I'm so grateful to all of you who've donated, especially this anonymous donor who's just chucked in 1,000 Canadian dollars, which means we're up to 7,300, which is just, I mean, that's incredible. That's so
7,300.
Yeah.
I was going to do a Jensen Interceptor.
What's his season Interceptor?
7.3.
So there you go.
I think.
You've hit Interceptor levels.
And I was also going to do a Gordon Keeble.
What's a Gordon Keeble? Well, I know what a Gordon Keeble. What's
I think that's 5.4.
Well, we've blown past.
Oh yeah.
Is that the most local car to you, a Gordon Keeble? In terms
No,
of
the most local car to me is Clement.
Thanks. What I mean is the most local car to you in terms of where it was made.
Actually, no, the Xantia V6 is the most
It's actually just outside the
literally
door.
on the other side of that door. Stuffed in the corner around the yard. Yeah, the Gordon Keeble would be to you as well.
Yeah, quite.
Because it was
Southampton, yeah.
There were some were built in Sholing,
Mhm.
and some were built on the airport.
Yeah, it was the airport, wasn't it? Was where they were built.
Yeah, the old Supermarine.
It's always my claim to fame is I was made where Gordon Keebles were made. Not that anyone really knows what Gordon Keeble
Your
is.
parents were on the airfield
I mean,
when they.
I wouldn't take it that literally. That's probably reading a bit too much into it.
How promiscuous.
I mean, the other thing I could say is I was made where transits were made, but it's kind of less glamorous than a Gordon Keeble, to be fair.
Well, the transits are on the other side of the M27.
That's true.
Though the M27 wasn't there when the Gordon Keebles were made.
Well, yeah. So technically, you could say they were built in the same place at that point.
You could, so you were made where transits were made.
Yeah, basically, and Gordon Keebles.
There were transits were made in Southampton.
And
Gordon Keebles were made in Eastleigh.
So you were made where Gordon Keebles were made, and I was made where transits were made.
Funny how it goes,
Isn't it?
Isn't it just? It's amazing.
So actually, your
Oh yeah, the closest was the car that we made.
What's that?
We manufactured a car here.
Oh, did you?
That kit car, the Super Cat.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
But
And I'm using that same workmanship on my DS.
well, I didn't make any of them to be fair. But no, it's it was due retirement.
Ah, I see.
But yeah.
Supercat. I forgot about Supercat.
So yeah, there are some cars that are out there
Yeah.
that have been made and that have a VIN
Mm.
that was created in Fareham.
Oh wow, there you go. So that is literally your. I mean, it couldn't get more local than that,
No.
really, could it?
No, the jig is there. Well, bits of it,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
because you're sitting on some of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is parts of the old jig.
No, is it?
Yeah.
What, the Supercat jig?
Yeah.
This is the Supercat.
That's
jig.
why it's got a bobble on there and two welds and stuff. It's got an M there, look. It tells you what part of the jig that was.
Well, that's sensational. Did you use parts of this to make the Mega Jig?
I used parts of the stock, I suppose you would call it.
Okay.
That metal that was already pre-cut lengths for.
Okay.
So yeah, anything that's got bits of blue on it is part of, because it was all the jigs were painted in blue.
Right. Yeah.
And all the dummy parts and patterns, so that you didn't use them for something else.
Right. Okay.
So they would throw blue paint on it.
Yeah.
Which is really hard to get off.
Yeah.
And yeah, so most of the Mega Jig is that. Yeah.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
The Mega Jig. By the way, anyone who hasn't watched Richard's channel, the Mega Jig is remarkable. It's
there.
pretty cool. Well, you can see. Can you see it through the?
They won't. They probably won't be able to see
No,
it.
my head's in the way, probably.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but the Mega Jig is remarkable. Every time I look out of that window, I think it's Audrey Park there, because I just catch sight of the grey boot lid. He's nicked my boot lid.
That's
by the
my
way.
boot lid.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
he's nicked my boot lid.
That's not your boot
Yeah,
lid.
it is. Well, it's grey. It's obviously.
Well, that's not a DS boot lid. So I thought that was
Did
mine.
you just say not a DS?
Well, no, because mine's not a DS.
Oh.
So I thought that was my boot lid.
Okay, I'll let you have that because that was quite impressive.
I haven't denied anything. Mine's not a DS.
Yeah, but the boot lid.
I've only got a D Super 5.
But if you want to press it, the boot lid's not from your car, though, is it?
Well, I think it is. Looking at it.
Is that your truth?
Is it on that car?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean anything in this workshop, does it, to be fair?
Sorry. But
Oh, dear.
it's my truth. Oh, what? Oh, that's a horrible, horrible saying.
Do you know what? I was listening the other day to the Manic Street Preachers album, This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours. And back in the 90s when that was recorded, it was quite a kind of cute little, nice little witticism. Nowadays, it just feels like something people say, doesn't it, you know?
Mm.
This is my truth, tell me yours. It's just the way it goes.
Some like woman on that Made in Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
Some bloke's
yes.
cheated on her with
Yeah.
her friend. But this is my truth. You're like,
Yeah.
I'll take your truth and throw it in the gutter. Seriously.
You were going to say something else then, weren't you?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Where are we? Our budget. How are we doing on that like button, folks? The like button's a good thing to do. We need to be doing
Where
it,
does it
please.
say what you've done? Like how many people have done it?
I don't know.
I can block people. Look.
Let's have a quick look at the figure up here. 7384. Oh, we're going up. Thanks, folks. You're doing really, really well. This is. Oh, look at these. Lovely. Yes. 50 quid from
Wow.
Mike. Nice. Excellent. Lovely work. Thank you, folks. That's tremendous. 7384. We're still in insect territory, aren't we, at the moment? Yeah.
I mean, that's quite a high territory.
I was going to say.
Do you want to see what comes after the Viper?
I do actually.
It's nothing I've driven. There's just a level above the Viper where it's just like we are in uncharted territory now.
Starship Enterprise.
No, it's not the Starship Enterprise. It's louder than that.
Is it?
Yes.
Gosh. Louder than the Starship. Actually, the Starship Enterprise isn't loud at all.
Because it's fictitious.
Also, because there's no air in space.
So you can't
So
hear
you can't
anything.
actually hear anything.
I know.
So all those shots of a spaceship when you go, because it comes past you, rubbish. If you were there, it would just go.
If you were there, you'd be going,
Not if you're
and your
wearing
blood
a
would be
spacesuit.
boiling.
If you're wearing a spacesuit.
Oh, okay.
But if you're wearing a spacesuit, you'd hear it even less because there's sound insulation. So
You'd hear nothing even less.
exactly. These are the debates you tune in for.
You
folks.
hear nothing even less. That nothing. You hear that complete and utter
Silence.
void. That
It's even
vacuum.
more silence.
That there is no noise at all. It's even quieter than that.
One of my favourite authors is Terry Pratchett, and there's a bit in one of his books where he talks about how there's silence, but this isn't that kind of silence. This is an absence of noise, which is a different level of silence to silence.
Is it the silence where you can hear your own bloodstream in your ears?
Yeah, that kind of where even the sound. It's like, what's that paint? Vanta Black. It's not just black. It's an absence of light because it doesn't reflect any
Well,
light.
technically, that is black.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Black is
the
an
blackest
absence of
black you
colour.
can get. Yes, exactly. And this is kind of the silent version of Vanta
There's
Black.
a room, isn't there, where I watched this program when they were talking about developing McLaren MP4-12.
Yes.
Terrible bloody name.
Yes.
But they developed this car and they were tuning the exhaust and they do it in this room, and the room has sound deaden, like massive cones sticking off the wall. And apparently you go in there and people can't stay in there for more than like some crazy short amount of time. Because it just it starts doing things to your brain.
It's weird. I've not been in that room, but I have been in a room that people use for sound testing where you've got these cones on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's weird because when you speak, your voice sounds quieter because you can't hear it reflected back from things. So almost
like you've got your fingers in your ears.
Yeah, a little bit, but
Yeah.
not because like with your fingers in your ears, it just sounds muffled. Like it's just your voice sounds quieter to you, and you're like, this
You
is
start
weird.
shouting.
You sort of do. You start
guy's like, "Don't
compensating.
shout."
It's weird. It's very, very
You
strange.
overcompensate.
Yeah,
I don't know what
yeah.
that's like. I really can't imagine.
How many TVRs have you got?
You can say that as an ex-TV.
Yeah, I can. That's the thing. I can do that now.
As a TV that's got a bulldog on the boot, Union flags all over it. Hey, we're going to Le Mans. Hey, donuts.
I do miss my TVR actually. I was thinking about it. I've missed it this summer when we've had the nice weather. I mean, it's been rubbish weather for most of the
You
time.
haven't had a car. 'Cause yours is here.
I've had a very lovely Mark II Focus saloon. I think you'll find really, really top. Amazing top quality. Gorgeous.
So it's got leather.
Got Ford called it leather.
So it's plastic.
I mean.
Ford's idea of
I
leather
think
is really quite...
I would love to know like what boundaries you can get away with calling leather because that is probably pushing them.
So how much of it is cow and how much of it is oil?
Well, I mean, this is the thing: is a lot of modern leather. It's not actually, you think of leather as a hide that they've cut into.
Yeah, no, it's got to be vegan.
No, because quite a lot of it is just bits of skin that they've shredded and then glued together, and you can still call it leather.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can still call it. If you take the hide, all the rubbish hide that nobody wants.
Okay, so this is just maybe... So
It's a bit like chicken nuggets.
Oh, right, so it's like bits of spine.
It's all the bits that you don't. Yeah, when chicken nuggets are bits of chicken that
arsehole
people
and
don't
then-
want.
So
I'm
I'm
glue it
not...
together, and you can call it leather.
I eat meat.
Mhm.
I don't think you can live on chips only.
Mhm.
But I don't see the point in killing not kill a cow for its skin because you've already got meat out of it. But why do you need to sit on a cow's skin?
Yeah,
The more you think about it, the more weird it is.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of. For me, the best most luxurious seat fabric is actually one that in the 90s was seen as the least luxurious, which is that kind of thick pile velour you used to get. I love a bit of nice
Crushed
soft
velvet
velour.
type.
You know, the sort of thing you used to get in like a Mondeo GLX or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, or a Focus Gear that doesn't have the leather seats.
Hey, they're quite, yeah.
That to me is the best. And actually, a lot of manufacturers these days are coming out with things like wool seats as their high-end option, where they're trying to be more sustainable. And it's really nice because it's really high-end. It's like the sort of wool you'd use for like a nice suit, you know.
I thought you were stuck on about carpets again.
No. We're not doing carpet chat.
Alex, don't ask him about carpets.
Don't ask him about carpets. Anyway,
I had no idea it was coming.
My granddad used to sell carpets. I have
many minutes.
I have thoughts on carpets. Anyway, we're not going to talk about carpets. No, and
that'll be a different podcast. The rug with Scrof.
Don't give me ideas. No, but yeah, a lot of the high-end manufacturers now are coming out with wool and high-end fabrics, which to me is much nicer than leather. It's much more tactile. It's warmer. It's, you know, it's just a nicer thing to sit in. You know, leather I think is overrated.
Vauxhall Senator with the crushed velour. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and
it was a low-cost option.
Yeah, the greens and the reds.
Oh, that's the really early one.
That's the one I'm thinking of. That's with the crushed velour. That's so nice. That's that sort of thing.
This is velour.
When you
I would
look
say.
at that, yeah. Well,
but this is with a very, very, very short part.
I was going to say it is velour. You're right. It is like it's just a very short part of velour, isn't it?
It probably wasn't when it was new.
If you look at the interior of those Senators, they just look luxurious.
Or Renault 25s.
What, with fabric?
Yeah.
I can't think of fabric on a Renault 25.
Yeah.
Is that not? I mean, I bet it's nice, you know. But yeah, you know, and so I'm not actually. I think leather has its place, but I'm not huge. I don't think it's actually a great material because it's always cold or hot or whatever.
Yeah.
We got leather in the Skoda in our family car. And I would not have it with leather if I could help it. It's just that particular spec that had the other bits we wanted.
It's not like you to settle for a spec that isn't exactly what you want.
Well, I mean, you know, yes.
I've got my Harman Kardon stereo.
I do like a high-end spec, I have to say. Like I don't need a posh badge, but I do like a high-end spec. You know, I like a normal car with a top spec. You know, that's my little.
And you cannot get more normal than a Skoda Octavia, can you?
Skoda Superb.
A Skoda Superb.
Mm-hmm. It's superb.
It's just such a. Why did they call it the Superb?
I don't know. Probably the same reason they called my car a DS.
Oh, man, just like go to that happy place.
Oh, this is good fun. I'm getting it all out now because I know from now on he's never ever
You're going to get
have one.
Punched at 9:05.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did notice. I couldn't help but notice that on last night's live stream, your first instalment is called Dynoing a DS.
And then after that, there's additional.
Is there? I didn't see the additional, so you got me on that. To be fair.
Yeah. No, that's for the algorithm.
Is it? I see. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But then people will go in the comments and they'll be like, "That's."
Yes, understood. Yes, I see.
And I'll be like, I know.
Yeah.
But until 9:00, I was under strict embargo. I couldn't say.
Of course, yes.
So I was being made to do stupid things to help people in a bad situation.
And I think you are being very worthy in doing so. Absolutely.
You know how painful this is for
Oh,
you.
completely. Why do you think I set you the challenge?
Why punish me? What have I done to you?
Yeah, it's not punishment.
I'm not welding your car properly now. Choose which one of your kids you prefer. Right? Because when they're both there, the one on the left, the seatbelt was only 50% as strong.
I'm doing this because basically I know that for the rest of my life you will never ever let me have it. But
I thought you say never ever forgive you, and I'd be like
that too. But also, you know, you talked about challenges. You wanted challenges. You know, I'm just bringing a little challenge of my own. That's all it is. You know.
What, to keep sane?
Yeah. Exactly.
I can feel a vein.
How are we doing, folks? What's on the chat at the moment? Believe Superb was a historic name for Skoda. That's right, it was actually, yes. As was Octavia. Kitches in pain. Kitches in pain, big smile. See, this is why I do it, you know, because we all love to see him in pain, don't we?
Absolute bloody freaks.
Isn't the Superb just an A6 or a Passat? The Superb is basically just a Passat. It's not an A6. An A6.
Well, an
is
A6 is a bit different to a Passat anyway.
Yeah, it's a different platform, but it is basically a Passat. I mean, you know, they're much of a muchness. It's just the Superb was cheaper. That's why I bought it. There you go. That's a great story.
It's an amazing story. Can you tell it again?
No.
Have we got time?
We got plenty of time, mate. I haven't finished referring to my DS. Right.
I'm coming over the phone.
Anonymous donor was found. Okay. Well. An extra DS.
Luke Lappet. Luke Lappet.
No.
Yeah, the hourly rate for a DS is higher, you see, because they're more complex.
7464. Let's change the subject.
I'll have to backdate everything I've done.
Let's change the subject. 7464. That's good, isn't it?
So this is amazing. I mean, I was at that. I was definitely at 7464.
That was near the end.
Yeah. That must have been about.
Yeah. Because don't forget, you've still got. We're at 8:39 in the morning, so you've still got the day when people are tuning in naturally through their day. You've then got what will naturally happen toward the end in the last hour when you're really struggling. People will donate, hopefully heavily, won't you, in order to help you through the last hour.
How many is on? 195.
There you go.
Wow.
It's good. It's good. And you'll get more than that later on today.
When you leave.
When I leave, obviously. Yeah, quite. You know, I'm holding things back at the moment, probably.
It's like, is he still? Oh, he's still. He's doing 2 hours. Oh God. So you'll get more than that later on. I reckon. I'm going to put my neck on the line here. I reckon you might hit 5 figures today. And I'm not saying that as an expectation or a target, but I'm just expressing my faith in the good people of this Weird Car Twitter community. Do you know one of the things I went to see Charlotte not long after the last, probably a couple of months after the last one, was a guy sent me a check. Old school.
Oh, wow.
It's like,
amazing.
What is this?
Numbers?
What do I do with this? So I tried taking a picture with my QR scanner and it was like,
didn't work.
What do I do with this? And I was just
like, no, don't do that.
I was like, I just went to her and I said, I think it's for you, but I don't know what it is. It's like money, but not. I tried to buy something with it just now. I couldn't. What do you do with it? She said, I have to go to the bank with it.
She said it's a check, and I said, check what?
Exactly. Yeah. I can't remember what I was saying now because I've been a tit.
Somebody sent you a check.
Yeah, no, I remembered that bit. I just couldn't remember the bit that.
That's the only bit I can remember. We were talking about hitting 5 figures, and you said that you'd been to see Charlotte, and Charlotte had said you were going to tell us something Charlotte had said.
Tell Alex.
Possibly.
Tell Alex he's.
I mean, it's not the first time I've heard that. To be fair.
No, what was it? Oh, this pearl of wisdom.
It really was a pearl, wasn't it?
We're going to miss out.
Amazing.
We are going to miss out. Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's gone. It's absolutely gone.
Remember at 3 p.m.
Absolutely gone. I'm trying to get rid of the CC of the Jensen Interceptor out of my head to make that space to see if it comes back. But I can't shift the Interceptor. It won't start.
I mean, that's not uncommon,
it's completely, it's completely true to form. Wait for it to cool down, it might.
I drove an Interceptor once. It was one of the vaguest things I've ever drove. Ever driven?
That's a fantastic England.
That's me writing for you. Don't read my stuff.
You're actually a professional writer who's qualified.
Well, questionable. And it was quite the vaguest thing I've ever driven. My overriding memory of that car was that I was driving it with another motoring journalist, as you do on these things. And when it was his turn to drive, we got stuck behind a Nissan Micra. And
as one does.
And on a straight bit of road, this guy next to me opened the Jensen up to overtake the Micra. And my last vision of that Micra was the driver, as we went past it, slamming on the brakes, presumably in sheer fear at the noise of what was coming past them. And they just stopped. They just stopped as we went past them.
It's like those people when you follow those people down the road in like a Honda Jazz or something. Every time someone comes the other way, they hit the brakes. You're like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. Sheer fear.
Why are you doing that? Like, if anything, you're making things worse.
Yeah.
You're going to cause an accident from behind. Don't worry about the one coming the other way. Worry about me.
So
Stop brake checking me.
I was driving down here last night, and some person I saw come to a complete full stop on the slip road onto the M25. On the slip road onto the M25 from Cobham Services, just came to a complete stop at the end. I saw them coming up as I was coming on the motorway. I saw them come up the slip road. Brake lights went on. I checked my mirror. They stopped at the end of the slip road.
They must have real confidence in their acceleration.
So what I don't understand about that is it's not a, oh God, I've gone onto the motorway, because you're coming on from a services. So you've obviously been on the motorway.
You haven't just found yourself
oh God, I'm on the motorway, I didn't want to be
But
here.
you must have come off.
So you must have known you were getting onto the motorway, so you need to I don't understand why I literally cannot
How surprised could you possibly be?
I can't understand. I'd like to put myself in other people's shoes and try and understand why they've made that decision, but I spent a good 10 minutes afterwards trying to work it out, and I couldn't get there.
How do you scroll?
Add an extra DS. Oh, no, we've done that, but we're not talking about the extra DS tax.
I think my thing
Is it frozen? Oh dear. Oh no, we're good.
There you go.
We're good. 200 people in the chat. 200 people in the chat. That's sensational. When was that session there? A few years on the drive from the vinyl upholstered Morris Minor was really uncomfortable. Yeah, I bet. Vinyl's not great for that either.
Carly, why are you telling people to kiss their like button?
McDonald's did have bacon this time. Yes.
And I've eaten one.
He's eaten one. You should have another one.
I'm stuffed, mate.
It's a bit cold now.
I know, it was cold when I had the first one. And I was just sat there like,
Mine was
pushing it in. I feel anxious about the amount of food I have. Like I've got fruit. I've got fruit. I might as well have a tree. I've got apples. I've got bananas. I've got oranges. I'm not going to eat any of them.
Okay.
I mean, well, I might.
Well, I'll just take the donuts with me when I go then, yeah? I'm not going to.
My kids have seen this yet. They're like, you better be bringing that box. Listen, old man, you better be bringing that home. If you don't, how do you kiss something with a finger?
Micro K13 1600 drive it.
Oh, he's going to be upset.
Yeah, I drive it like that.
Hang on, Micro K.
Big cars get small personality when driving the power band and leading by. I bet you. Oh, that's sensation. That's
Micro
a great
K,
concept.
what's a K-
Ontario.
What's
Amazing.
a K13? Is that the Frog Eye one?
I don't know my micro, so I'm going to get shown up. But K10 was the square one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So K11
with the March Super Turbo.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
is
So K11
very
was,
cool.
was the sort of roundy bobbly one.
Yeah.
So
the K12 must
follow
be.
the K12 is the Frog Eye one, unless they call the facelift the K12, which I don't, because I don't know my micros, so I'm probably going to get corrected in the comments.
When we do
K13 is post Froggy, right? Yes, thank you.
K13 is
so it's
piece
the one
of
that...
shit Froggy. That's really rude. Ian. That's someone's car. No, you can. That's not 12 seconds in.
Oh, I see.
Ian's been really rude about a micro.
Unbelievable.
He is so rude.
Such a rude person. I've never known a ruder man. I just feel I should correct the record because I've actually never known anyone as polite as Ian, so I can't. It hurts me to say that. I lost the T.
He lost the T. I've lost more than that. That's fair.
Oh dear.
Auto Shenanigans is on his watch. Jesus, how far away do you live? I'm feeling bad.
What time is he on?
3 hours yet.
What time's he on?
12.
Oh.
Well, he loves motorways.
Oh.
So I bet he stops on the way.
Hopefully not on the slip road.
To take it in.
Hopefully not on the slip road.
No, he's not an idiot, Alex. He's just so rude. Just assuming. He knows all about his motorways, and I bet he stops and he goes, "Oh look, a disused reservoir."
I'm going to watch that because I love geeky motorway.
Have you not watched Auto Shenanigans?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna.
Oh mate, you're going to be on a binge tonight.
I look forward to it.
Watch his 100k one.
I can't wait. He sounds like the kind of person I would like to have a long.
I'm worried about the
incredibly boring conversation with.
I worry about. He's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
He's very dry, and I'm aware that people have suggested, rather rudely, I think, that I am, and I worry that the moisture content in this office will not sustain life.
The question is, if he's very dry, my only fear is if he's very dry and you're very tired, are you going to be able to catch the jokes? or are you just gonna go straight over your head? It'll be fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine.
It'll be fine. But yeah, he's coming. I've done this thing again.
It's fallen
Keep
over.
touching the thing.
Oh, is that what it is? 7499. How much?
He Auto Shenanigans has done some. He's done some. He did one the other day where he was measuring the ethanol that came in petrol from the pumps.
Right.
Not massively scientific.
That's fascinating. That's really useful.
Scientific enough, right? And also, like, is a litre, when the pump clicks, is it a litre?
That's great.
Who knows?
Oh my gosh.
You could be being diddled out of,
Maybe
like...
so needing someone to... So one of the things I get quite a lot is emails from people asking, like, where they should buy fuel if they want to reduce ethanol content. And there's... And
France.
Up till recently, I used to say Esso, because Esso basically said, although our thing's marked at E5, it doesn't have ethanol in it.
They don't have...
They've now changed that.
Yeah, so they don't have to put it in, do they?
No,
E5 doesn't. But in E10 means it's got up to 10%.
That's right, but I think that it's more regulated on how much they have to have in it.
It's between 5 and... His video covers it, but it's
So it will be fascinating to see what ethanol content different petrol suppliers are putting into their super.
I think he takes like... I did watch it. He took like 4 brands of fuel.
That's fascinating.
You know, he's done a few of them. And I haven't watched the is a litre one.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm worried that I'm going to watch it and get angry. Because if I find out it's not, I'm going to be like, right, the amount of fuel I've put in that bloody C6 at £2.10 a litre, or whatever it was at one point. I'll flip my biscuits.
Yeah.
Because I was putting in the super diesel that everyone said you must put in the super diesel. Right, and it was £2.10 a litre, or whatever it was, back when everything went more mental than it is now. And
as a fellow diesel owner, I feel your pain, although I didn't have to use super.
And everyone was like, if you don't put that in the DPF will block. And I was like, I started to think,
look what happened.
Here we go, right? This is like, don't put fuel in at the supermarkets. It's not the right. And it's like, it comes out the same.
That one is a bit. There's a.
It's you know, if they don't stir the tanks, they don't stir the tank. That can happen anyway. It's negligence, you know. I know that apparently someone who works at Shell told me that V-Power's just got acetone in it.
Is it really?
Yeah, pretty much. But my DPF is now blocked, so much so that it's blown the exhaust in front of it. So you could argue, if you were being pragmatic about it, that perhaps on this occasion they were not incorrect.
It's a conclusion you could come to logically. It doesn't necessarily, to be fair, it's not that scientific. It doesn't necessarily mean your DPF blocked because you weren't using super diesel. It could be that your DPF blocked because you're driving 3 miles to work and back, and that was all you were doing in it.
8 miles.
Of course.
Round trip.
Yeah, that makes all the difference. 8 miles. Well, I said 3 miles to work and back, so that's 6 miles round trip. So I wasn't far off.
Yeah, but you were wrong.
He's
25%.
He's really hating the DS.
25%. 25% is the bit of a D Special that's missing over a DS. It's like 75%.
Not that one, just generically.
I'm just talking about D Specials.
Generally, yes.
D Specials, and I include mine is the lineage of an ID. It's D Super 5. That is the ID lineage.
Except yours isn't, because it's got DS stamped on it.
Well, mine has DS21 written on it, 5 gears, and a button for the brakes.
Yeah.
So you could argue, hypothetically speaking, that's more of a DS than a D Special.
You could argue that, yeah.
You could argue that hypothetically
In fact, I wouldn't just argue that. I would actually agree with that.
Yes, you could.
I would agree.
And I feel that in 9 minutes, I'll probably think more strongly about it. But yeah.
Excellent stuff. I'm looking forward to that. Then I'll try and watch that later on Auto Shenanigans. That's going to be good fun. My EGR needs serious cleaning. That sounds like a euphemism.
You want to see the doctor about that one,
mate.
Yeah. Miss Hubnut is just going to go and walk Ian back, surely, leaving Diego with you guys.
Diego's going to do the old...
That is a yappy dog.
Is he?
Oh.
What kind of dog is he?
Like a Chihuahua type dog.
Oh, cute. Sweet. Should introduce him to Luther. You met Luther? You haven't met Luther?
No, I haven't met Luther, but all I know is that this dog would pick a fight with any dog that would...
Yeah, Luther would run away from him. Luther. I walked Luther once, and there was a puppy.
Jack Russell Cross Chihuahua.
Ah, nice.
Can you imagine?
That's a small dog.
How shit-faced is that dog? like, as far as small dog attitude goes, that's
Carly, are
like...
you alright with Rich denigrating your dog like
No,
this?
she doesn't care.
Okay, alright, fine.
She probably doesn't even like it. Chihuahua, can you imagine?
He's been known to yap.
He is. He is. They shut him in the car last time they were in. We put him in the office at one point, I think. I think we locked him in the office and put a blanket over the cage.
Oh, bless
like
him.
Crocodile Hunter used to put a towel over crocodile's heads.
When they get really stressed, a blanket over the cage does.
I suggested a tranquilizer dart, but yeah, they didn't. I was willing to do it.
I walked Luther once, and
once? How mean?
Yeah,
I'm supposed to do it every day.
It's the one time. It was a very long walk though.
Oh, that'll do for the year.
That's it. Job
In you
done.
go, son. That's your 12 miles.
Yeah, I took him for a walk once, and there was this bloke walking literally the same route as me behind me, and I kept turning, and he kept following me. I was like, "Could you just not walk the same route?" And he had this little.
Did you
puppy.
say that?
Almost did, because he had this little puppy on a long training lead, and this puppy just kept wanting to play with Luther, and Luther. He's 9 years old now. He wants to play for like 5 minutes, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm done."
What dog is Luther?
He's a staffy cross with a lab. So he's basically a big
Oh,
Labrador
that's
size with a bit of chonk on him.
A little bit
He's
cancel for you, isn't it?
the gentlest. Oh, Staffies aren't count. Staffies are lovely, but he's a Staffy lab cross, so it's kind of counts them kind of like middle class.
So really, that's the sort of dog we think it looks like a friendly dog,
Mm.
but it shouldn't. If it wanted to, it should be able to defend itself.
Yeah, but he does not. He's very bad at that.
Oh.
As I say, this puppy kept bothering him for like 20 minutes. And
he cried and went.
he literally came and skulked. But he came to my and walked right behind my legs. Like, can you do?
You were like, seriously, have some respect.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Didn't even bark at this other dog or growl or anything like that. He was just like, can you come and sit?
He'll growl at the postman probably.
No, he doesn't even bark when the doorbell goes.
Oh, my kids might like that dog.
Yeah, he's lovely. He doesn't bark when the doorbell goes. Which is
Can he bark?
He can.
Is he immune?
He barks when he wants you to play with him. If you're in the garden and he's excited and he wants you to play with him, he does a little low kind of bark.
And what do you do?
Play with him normally.
Push over.
I
I just like pick the slipper up.
The problem with the non-barking though is if you open the door, so he's very good. He'll wait. He won't come to the door. Oh my god, I want to see who's there.
Okay,
He'll
fair
wait,
play.
and then you open the door. And then he comes rushing out, and nobody's heard him barking. So sometimes
It's just a
people
complete
get scared.
surprise.
There's this large black dog comes flying out the door at them in the door, so that he can't do that, and then open the outer door.
And then he smashes through the glass.
Yeah, basically, I've had to replace that glass 50 times now. It's unbelievable. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a nice dog.
I think bigger dogs are. They're more me. Like I was like Nat used to have a border collie.
Oh, lovely.
It was sound.
Yeah,
it wasn't a proper border collie. It wasn't
yeah.
a proper one.
Really?
Yeah, no, it was much more like a house pet. But it had a couple of streaks in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so sound. Stank. My God, the breath
Yeah,
on that dog.
they do.
But yeah, it was such a handsome dog as well. It was real. Yeah, like you walk it down the street and people are like,
Beautiful
"Whoa,
dog, yeah.
look at your dog."
Because we had with Luther, because Staffies are known for skin problems, like flaky skin, itchy skin. Labradors are known for skin problems as well. So he's got that. He always has flaky skin, and to keep it manageable, we feed him on a diet. The food we give him is fish based. It's salmon because salmon oil is good.
It's like
for the
you feed him chihuahuas.
I don't think he'd eat them. No, it's like.
What's that on my plate? Get it out.
But the problem is the salmon oil, of course, makes his breath absolutely reek.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrendous.
It comes up to you, they're like panting.
Yeah.
You're like, no, seriously.
Could you not, mate? I mean, it's lovely, but it's just.
Mine does actually at the
Bit
moment.
much. But to be fair, yours is not as bad as his.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I've got to get ready for my next.
you probably have actually, haven't you? Yes, that's sort of. So where are we at now? We have to.
We've got Seaside Garage.
7.5.
Oh man.
Yes.
I'm getting like anxious now.
Anxious? You don't need to be anxious.
No, I just like get on edge about
It's
stuff.
not going away.
No, I know, but it starts going backwards. I'm like, no. Just like, what's happening? How's that right?
Oh, sensational. Thank you all for your company, and thank you for donating so generously. Please continue to do so. We want to see, we obviously want to see him suffer, but we also want to see him alive at the end of it. So please keep him going with your chat. And keep donating. Keep spreading the podcast far and wide. I mean, by the link.
Keep spreading the podcast that there is no podcast yet, but keep spreading the theory of a podcast.
Oh, not the podcast. What am I saying? I didn't mean the podcast. I meant the stream. I meant the live stream. Please keep spreading.
You're really good at this.
Yeah, great. You're going to love me as a podcast partner.
We're doing them remote.
It's going to be even better then.
Yeah, because I can just press mute and just...
Yeah, you can't mute me in person.
No, that's it. I'll just go to a happy place.
Yeah, so please keep spreading the link to the live stream far and wide. Get people coming to watch it, because I've no doubt the minute they come and watch it, they'll donate. And donating is really what it's all about. And with that, I should probably take my leave, because you've got stuff to do.
I need to go for a toilet. A wee.
Yeah. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, because I thought otherwise it was too crude. I thought it'd be too much info otherwise. And then I've got Seaside Garage, who lives in Paradise.
Oh, really?
No, seriously, I watch his videos and I can't watch them. Because I just see his house and the view out of his window and think, oh, go away. It's like, yeah, out in Denmark, on the seaside, garage at his house, barn around the corner, all cars in it. Look out the window and it's just North Sea, calm as anything, green grass.
Yeah, I've got a little bit.
And it's not hot like it is here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when it gets hot.
You don't like it hot, do you?
God,
No, I like it
when it's hot and it's muggy and sticky and that, it's not like that. And it's like,
you know, I've got a little bit of Danish heritage in me.
oh, here we go.
Yeah.
French, Danish,
French, Danish,
Jamaican, Scottish, Icelandic. A bit Eskimo, aren't you?
Probably. Something in there, I expect.
British. Oh, no, hang on. No.
None of that. None of that rubbish.
Yeah.
I am actually. There's a bit of British in there as well. Bit of English in there.
My family.
Well, there's quite a lot of British, because there's a lot of English and part Scottish as well.
Pretty much my entire family comes from Southampton.
That's no bad thing.
Like pretty much, if you like, my family tree is really like, you go back because my mum's done it. She's gone back to like 1700s. It's like Southampton. There's a different place. Oh no, Southampton spelled differently back then. Like, oh, okay. Hamwick. Yeah. That's when the Saxons landed.
Oh, amazing. Right, it's been lovely. See you later, folks. Ta-ra. Do you need to stop it, or do you need to?
I'm going to stop it, and so I've got to start another one to get
that to
get Seaside in. So
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
See you, folks. Ta-ra.
Hang on. What time is it?
9 o'clock.
It's not a bloody DS, right? It's a D Special. It's not a DS.
I can't hear you.
It's got a brake pedal.
La 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 la.
Do your headlights self-level? No, they don't. 2-litre engine.
I'll let him have it.
It's 9 o'clock.
So long.
It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
You can't not.
Do
you want to take that coffee?
Technically, I actually said until I leave.
Well, you have left. You just said bye.
Still going, isn't it?
No, but that's completely irrelevant. Right. I'll see you everybody in a minute with Seaside Garage.
Bye, folks.
I'm going to go and